Okay, hey gang. Hey, Vaughn here once again with our next shootout, and once again I'm at Todd Tilleman's Anything Audio, just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Here's what I'm doing this time. I'm using this little Epiphone Valve Jr. This is a completely stock Epiphone Valve Jr. If you're lucky, you can find one on eBay for not much more than $50 or something right there. Incredibly inexpensive, not bad sounding little heads. And there's a lot of amp manufacturers that are making these really small tube heads, little Black Stars, little Voxes, and generally speaking, they all sound pretty good. They're pretty much all made in China, and so quality control's a little iffy on them. But they've become really popular. And one of the cool things is you can take a little 5-watt tube head, hook it up to a good speaker and a good cabinet, and you've got a really neat sounding little rig, right? And the thing weighs practically nothing. It costs practically nothing. Okay, well, what we've got over here on the left side is the Celestion G12H, which when we were using our big Marshall JCM 900s in last week's shootout, sounded really good, especially on AC/DC type stuff. And what we have over here on the other side is the WGS Reaper 55, which, again, when we were doing our high gain through Marshall JCM 900s, it had a little bit more lows, a little bit more highs, but didn't seem quite as focused and concentrated as the Celestion. So let's see what, again, we're in this little itty-bitty Epiphone, and I'm actually using my selector switch right now as a speaker selector switch. So we'll be using the same head, and since it's only a few watts that it puts out, we're just using a selector switch. It's a passive box to select between the two speaker cabinets. And we're going to start out with the Vintage 30, and when you see me go back and hit the switch, you'll know that we've switched over, or not the Vintage 30, I'm sorry, the G12H Celestion. And when you see me go back and hit the switch, then you'll know that we're going over to the WGS Reaper 55, okay? And actually, I'm going to start with something a little different than what we did before. Oh, and I've got the Valve Jr. almost cranked, by the way, which is the way most people like them. So it's pretty high gain in a like 5-watt kind of way. Something a little different. First on the Celestion. Back to the Celestion. How about up in the neck pickup now? And with the tone rolled down. And the classic AC/DC thing. Oh, by the way, Todd loaned me one of his Gibson robot guitars because he just couldn't stand. He said his ears couldn't take me playing out of tune any longer. It was he was just about ready to have to actually, you know, like take some ice picks or something like that and poke his eardrums out because he couldn't take it any longer. And I think he had to go to the bathroom and puke at one point. I mean, he said he had to have me in tune, so I'm through the robot, and hopefully the AC/DC thing will sound a little, you know, a little better in tune. And we're going to start again on the Celestion G12H, and then I'll switch over to the WGS Reaper 55. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Celestion. Oh, okay, that's a WGS. Celestion. Okay, well, wow, just like when we did Marshall JCM 900 to this comparison, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. The Celestion speaker is definitely like tighter and more focused sound and kind of coming at you right down the middle, whereas the WGS has a little bit more balls on the bottom end and a little bit more top end as well. So I'm going to say that particular little comparison says, wow, it depends on what it is you're looking for. This sounds a little bit more like stuff we've heard on records a lot before. As a player standing in front of it, I tend to be a little bit more inspired probably by the sound of the WGS. Let's see, next we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do the Veteran 30 against a Vintage 30. There we go. The Celestion Vintage 30, very popular speaker in rock and roll against the Warehouse Guitar Speakers Vet 30. Stay tuned for that, and we're going to do that again with our little 5-watt Valve Jr.